Ladies and gentlemen, let's get real for a second. Nobody, and I mean nobody, cares about your struggle. Not your boss, not your ex, not that random guy on Instagram. Life doesn't hand out trophies for effort, it rewards results. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's also freeing as hell, because the moment you realize no one's coming to save you, you take full control. That's when the real growth starts. Pain, suffering, setbacks, that's fuel. That's your fire. You either use it or you let it burn you alive. This isn't a pity party. This is a wake-up call. Strap in, we're going deep. Nobody's carrying your pain. That's the cold truth, and it hits hard because it's real. We grow up thinking someone will understand, someone will reach in, someone will carry us through. But life doesn't work like that. People have their own battles, their own scars, and their own silent wars. So while you're out here expecting someone to validate your struggle, to recognize your suffering, life just keeps moving. It doesn't stop. It doesn't care. It's not cruel. It's just indifferent. When you finally realize that nobody's coming, it's not a moment of sadness. It's a moment of power. Because now, finally, everything is in your hands. You stop waiting for someone to acknowledge what you've been through. You stop waiting for the apology that never comes, the help that's never offered, the hand that's never extended. You begin to understand that your pain is yours to process, yours to carry, and most importantly, yours to weaponize. You see, pain is a tool. It sharpens you, breaks you down to the core, and forces you to rebuild with grit. It strips away the nonsense. It kills your ego, tears down the illusions, and makes you stare at who you really are. And that person, that version of you who has been bent but not broken, dragged but not destroyed, that person is dangerous. That person is ready. But you can't get to that point if you're still busy feeling sorry for yourself. You can't evolve if all your energy is spent complaining about why life's unfair. Of course it's unfair. Fair doesn't exist in the wild. Lions don't care if you had a bad day. The jungle doesn't stop for your emotions. It's brutal, and you either adapt or you get eaten. That's not cynicism, it's clarity. Because once you stop expecting sympathy, you stop being a victim. And when you stop being a victim, you start building. You start creating structure out of chaos. Every sleepless night, every betrayal, every moment of fear becomes part of the blueprint. You start turning pain into strategy, trauma into tenacity. You start showing up not because you feel good, but because that's what the mission demands. This mindset isn't about being heartless. It's about being forged by pressure. Steel doesn't harden without fire, and neither do you. So when the world ignores your struggle, don't cry louder, train harder, show them with results, speak with action, make your pain so productive that people have no choice but to notice. Not because they care, but because you become so relentless they can't look away. And yeah, people might talk. They'll say you changed, that you're cold now, focused, obsessed. Good, let them. That means you're doing something right. You're no longer waiting for understanding. You're no longer looking for a handout. You've stopped explaining yourself. You've become your own accountability, your own rescue, your own reason. Let them doubt you. Let them ignore you. Let them forget you. That's your advantage. You've been through things most people wouldn't survive, and you're still standing. But don't just stand. Build. Move. Fight. You've earned that grit. You've earned that fire. And no one, not a single soul, can take that away from you. Discipline is louder than excuses. You can talk all day about how hard life is, how unfair the world has been to you, how many setbacks you faced, but none of that matters if you're not showing up every single day and doing the work. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for motivation. It doesn't rely on inspiration. It's about showing up when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's painful, and when every part of you wants to quit. Excuses are easy. They roll off the tongue. I didn't sleep well. I'm stressed. I'll start tomorrow. Everybody's got a list. Everybody's got reasons why they can't, why it's not the right time, why they're just not ready. But discipline cuts through all of that noise. Discipline says, I don't care how you feel. This gets done. It's not glamorous. It's not sexy. It's not a highlight reel. It's waking up early when nobody's watching. It's grinding through hours of work when your body's sore and your mind is tired. It's putting in reps when the results aren't showing yet, when there's no applause, no recognition, no quick wins. That's why discipline scares people, because it demands consistency. It demands that you be someone who follows through, not just someone who talks big. Excuses let you stay comfortable. They let you believe the illusion that one day you'll magically be ready, that the perfect time will come. But that day never comes. The only thing that ever shows up is the choice to do it now or don't. And every time you choose not to, you reinforce the habit of quitting. Every skipped workout, every missed opportunity, every broken promise to yourself, it adds up, it compounds, and it builds the identity of someone who runs from pressure instead of facing it. Discipline builds the opposite. It builds pride, quiet pride, the kind of pride that doesn't need to post about it. The kind that lives in the way you walk, the way you hold yourself, the way you look people in the eye because you know, you did what you said you would do. That's power. That's internal strength. And no one can fake that. Excuses love emotion. They love drama. They need you to feel like a victim, like the world owes you something. Discipline doesn't play that game. It deals in facts. Did you show up or not? Did you get the work done or not? Did you make progress or just promises? That's the question. And the answer is never in your words, it's in your actions. The world isn't moved by what you plan to do. It's moved by what you actually did. You can have goals, big goals, ambitious dreams, but without discipline, they're just fantasies. You'll be stuck in the loop, talking about what could have been, making excuses about why it didn't happen, blaming timing, blaming people, blaming life. Discipline is what breaks that loop. It's the daily decision to act, to move, to train, to grind, regardless of how you feel. And yeah, there will be days you slip, days you miss, but discipline doesn't mean being perfect. It means coming back stronger. It means not letting one off day turn into a pattern. It means holding yourself to a standard that doesn't move just because your emotions do. Emotions come and go. But discipline, that's the backbone, that's the anchor, that's the signal in all the noise, the thing that separates the people who get it done from the ones who keep talking about getting it done. Comfort kills ambition. It's the silent killer, the slow decay that creeps in when things feel good enough. When you've got a decent paycheck, a warm bed, a predictable routine, and no immediate crisis, comfort starts whispering in your ear, relax, you've earned it, why push harder? And that's where most people get stuck, not because they failed, but because they settled. They stopped climbing. They lost the edge. They traded their potential for security, their dreams for convenience. Ambition doesn't live in comfort zones. It lives in discomfort, in risk, in uncertainty. It grows when you're pushing yourself past what's easy, past what's known. That moment when you're exhausted, when your body is screaming to stop, when your mind is begging for relief, that's where the growth begins. That's where ambition gets fed. But most people pull back right there. They retreat. They look for ways to make the pain stop instead of learning how to operate inside it. Comfort gives you just enough to feel okay, but not enough to feel alive. It tricks you into thinking you've arrived when really you've just paused. It rewards you for doing the bare minimum and punishes you when you dare to want more. It tells you to avoid failure, to take the safe route, to not risk embarrassment. And if you listen long enough, it will bury your hunger so deep you forget it was ever there. But ambition, it's violent, it's wild, it's uncomfortable by nature. It demands that you throw yourself into the unknown, that you chase things before you're ready, that you take shots without guarantees. It demands early mornings, long nights, sacrifice, loneliness, hunger, rejection. Ambition is not convenient. It doesn't make space for comfort. It breaks routines. It challenges everything soft inside you. Most people avoid that. They think discomfort is a signal to stop. But high performers, the obsessed, the relentless, they see discomfort as a green light. They chase it. They understand that pressure is a privilege, that resistance builds resilience. They know that every breakthrough happens on the other side of struggle. You want to level up, then you better get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. You better rewire your mind to see the grind not as punishment, but as preparation. You've got goals, and they're not small. But goals without discomfort are just wishes. You're not going to become the version of yourself you imagined by staying where it's safe. That next level version of you, they live in a different reality, a harder one with more demand, more stress, more risk, more sacrifice. If you want to meet them, you've got to earn your way into their world. You don't walk into that life with the habits of your old one. You burn the old version down, you bleed for the new one. People talk about balance like it's the goal. But when you're building something great, balance isn't part of the formula, not in the beginning. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be obsession. There's going to be a level of intensity that other people won't understand. And that's the point. If everyone could handle it, everyone would be living their dream. But they're not. They're comfortable. They're watching from the sidelines, cheering for someone else who decided that comfort wasn't enough. There's a cost to ambition, and it's paid in sweat, discipline, and discomfort. Every rep, every setback, every moment you feel stretched beyond your limits, it's carving you into something sharper, something harder to stop. And you only find that version of yourself when you stop seeking ease and start seeking pressure. Turn rejection into obsession. Every no you've ever heard, every door that slammed in your face, every person who doubted you, ignored you, or underestimated you, those moments are not setbacks, they're signals. Signals to go harder. Rejection isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the raw material for something far more powerful than approval ever could be. Rejection is a gift if you know how to use it. Most people fear rejection like it's some kind of verdict on their worth. They take it personally. They internalize it. They let it dig into their confidence until they stop trying. But rejection doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. You can let it crush you, or you can let it light a fire so deep that every no becomes fuel, every doubt becomes a spark, and every time someone tells you, you can't, your obsession whispers back, watch me. The truth is, if you're doing anything worthwhile, anything bold, different, or daring, you will face rejection. It's part of the process. It's the resistance that sharpens you. The faster you accept that, the faster you stop chasing validation and start chasing excellence. Obsession doesn't need a cheer squad. It doesn't care who claps. It lives in silence. It lives in the shadows, in the grind that nobody sees. It takes rejection and uses it as leverage, as energy, as proof that you're getting closer to something worth fighting for. Think about every successful person you admire, every athlete, artist, entrepreneur, creator. At some point, they were told they weren't good enough. Too small, too slow, too weird, too ambitious. But they didn't let that stop them. They used it. They replayed the criticism in their heads on loop until it drove them to work harder, train longer, focus deeper. Rejection became their competitive edge. They turned pain into precision. Obsession is different than motivation. Motivation fades. It's emotional. It's temporary. But obsession, that's embedded. That's the mindset that says, I'm not leaving until this is done. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care who doubts me. I don't care if nobody believes in me right now. I believe in me. Obsession is personal. It's not about proving others wrong as much as it is about proving yourself right. It's waking up every day with a chip on your shoulder, not out of bitterness, but out of purpose. Rejection forces you to get better. It shows you where you're weak. It pushes you to ask harder questions, refine your craft, sharpen your edge. Without rejection, there's no friction, and without friction, there's no fire. So when people pass on you, when you get overlooked, when your work doesn't get the response you wanted, don't shrink. Expand. Use it. Let it remind you why you started. Let it harden your focus. Let it shape your hunger. The worst thing you can do is let rejection make you quiet. To let it soften you, tame you, convince you to aim lower. Obsession is the antidote to that. Obsession doesn't slow down when it hits a wall. It starts climbing. It sees rejection as a test, and it refuses to fail. You've got to get to a point where the word no doesn't mean stop. It means not yet. Where every rejection is a reminder that your story is still being written, and the people who didn't see your value were never meant to. You don't need the world to say yes. You need to say yes to yourself relentlessly. Let rejection build your obsession, not bury your ambition. Talk less, do more. Your grind is your voice. In a world where everyone's posting, sharing, talking about what they're going to do, the loudest person in the room is usually the one doing the least. Noise is everywhere. Plans, ideas, announcements, opinions. But none of it means anything without action. You want to stand out. You want people to take you seriously. Then shut up and move. Let your results do the talking, because the grind speaks louder than any status update ever could. Words are cheap. They don't require sacrifice, commitment, or follow through. You can say anything and walk away like it didn't matter. But action, that's different. Action holds weight. It demands time, energy, risk. It requires you to back up your beliefs with sweat and struggle. That's why most people stay stuck in the talking phase. It's safe there. It's comfortable. You can pretend you're making progress when you're really just procrastinating out loud. The people who really make it, the ones who change things, who elevate, who dominate, they're too busy building to broadcast every step. They don't need applause for every rep, every late night, every hard decision. They're not chasing likes. They're chasing results. And results come from consistent, quiet, relentless work. You'll know them not by how much they talk, but by how much they've built. You'll feel their presence before you hear their voice. There's a certain power in silence. When you keep your plans to yourself and execute in the dark, people don't see you coming. You're not defending your goals. You're not arguing with doubters. You're just showing up, doing the work, and letting the outcome shut everyone up. That's the real flex. Not the talk before the battle, but the aftermath when everyone's wondering how you did it. The grind isn't supposed to be glamorous. It's not designed for attention. It's repetitive. It's unfiltered. It's you viz you every single day. And the more you talk, the more you give your brain the illusion that work is being done. Talking can trick you into thinking you're progressing when you haven't moved an inch. Execution is the only thing that counts. Execution earns respect. Not plans, not ideas, execution. It doesn't matter how great your vision is if you're not putting in the hours. It doesn't matter how big your goals are if your habits are weak. People will eventually stop listening to what you say if your actions don't back it up. And that's not them being cruel, it's them responding to truth, because real recognize real. People respect effort. They respect consistency. They respect results. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means your words have weight because they're backed by action. When someone who's known for doing speaks, people listen. Because it's rare. Because it means something. Because that voice has been earned, not gifted. And that's the type of person you want to be. The one who doesn't have to explain themselves. The one who walks in a room and doesn't need to brag because their work is already known. There's something about being underestimated that can be turned into an advantage. If people don't see you as a threat, let them. Keep it that way. Let them sleep on you while you build. Let them run their mouths while you run your reps. Because when the results show up, they won't need an introduction. They'll speak louder than anything you could have said. Talking gives you a moment. Working gives you momentum. And momentum is where transformation happens. Not in the announcement of the goal, but in the execution of the process. Every minute spent proving yourself through words is a minute stolen from the grind. Be undeniable, make them care by winning. You don't need to beg for attention, chase validation, or try to convince people of your worth. That's not the game. The real move is becoming so consistent, so locked in, so damn good that they can't ignore you even if they want to. You stop waiting for permission, and instead you deliver results that force the world to take notice. That's the difference between talking about success and becoming it. Undeniable doesn't ask for respect, it commands it. You've got to understand something: nobody owes you belief. Nobody owes you support. In fact, most people will doubt you by default. Not because you can't do it, but because they can't see past their own limitations. They project their fears onto your ambition. And if you're not solid, if you don't have that internal fire, you'll start believing them. You'll play small just to fit in. You'll hide your potential to make others comfortable. That's where dreams go to die. The way out of that trap is to stop trying to be liked and start aiming to be undeniable. That means showing up when it's hard. That means putting in the hours that nobody sees. That means working on your craft with ruthless commitment, not to prove someone wrong, but to prove yourself right. People can debate your opinion, your background, your style, but they can't argue with results. Results are pure. They speak in a language everyone understands. Being undeniable is about refusing to be average. It's about waking up and deciding that no matter what happened yesterday, today you're going to move forward. It's about staying locked in even when there's no spotlight, no praise, no applause. Most people fade when the attention fades. But the ones who rise, they're built for the shadows. They're built for the long haul. They treat every rep, every meeting, every opportunity like it matters, because it does. You don't become undeniable by accident. You become it through obsession, through showing up over and over again, until what you do is so sharp, so polished, so relentless that the world has no choice but to respect it. They may not like you. They may still doubt you. But they will respect what you've built, because truth can't be ignored. Results can't be silenced. A record of execution is louder than any speech. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about being the person who, no matter how many times they get knocked down, shows back up stronger. Because that sends a message. It tells the world you're not here to participate, you're here to take over. And when people see that level of drive, they start paying attention. Not because you ask them to, but because they can't look away. You don't have to clap back. You don't have to respond to every critic. You don't have to fight for a seat at the table. Build your own table. Build something so solid, so impactful that they come to you. That's what winning does. It creates gravity. It pulls people in. And once you become undeniable, the same people who ignored you, laughed at you, brushed you off, they start asking questions. They start watching. They start wondering how you did it. You did it by not quitting. You did it by focusing. You did it by making a decision that you weren't going to let opinions dictate your outcome. You did it by being disciplined when nobody was watching. You did it by grinding in silence until the results made all the noise. Being undeniable is not a moment, it's a mindset, it's not a quote, it's a lifestyle. You keep showing up until excellence is your default setting.